Hey yo, this is Dash, and I wanted to preface the video that's coming up. Wanted to let you guys know, not all of the clips that I film always make it into the video that goes out. So every now and again, I will go ahead and take some bits and pieces of some footage and put together a compilation or put together a little video like I'm going to do today. So this one is some footage from a few months ago when I had that big catering event. This was a lot of the prep that went into that, or getting some of those briskets together. So I wanted to share how I trim some briskets, especially how I trim briskets when it comes to a large event. So sit tight, here comes the intro. Hey, yo, this is Dash. Get ready. All right, so I am here today and I am prepping briskets, and I have pork shoulder as well. The brisket is what I want to talk to you guys about momentarily. So I have a brisket here that I've gone ahead and gotten rinsed out of the package, rinsed off, and I'm going to trim it. And basically I'm going to come in here and trim some of this off. Now the important thing is this decal, this piece of fat right here, it doesn't render. So I will come in with the knife, usually at an angle, and you can kind of just feel where the fat is and where it isn't. So you can see my cut down in here. I can go back in here a little more and get a little bit more fat, and then I'm going to come around the other side and come all the way down in the front. Now I have a firm grip on this so that the brisket doesn't move. So now there, that's primarily all fat, and it just goes in the trash. Now, I have done things and made beef tallow and rendered the beef fat. You can feel free to do it, but I am pressed for time. I have a lot of briskets to process as far as getting them ready. So I'm going to do this quickly and efficiently, if it would cooperate. And I'm just going to pull this fat out of here. Again, this is not going to render. Now, if I were doing a smaller cook, I probably would take my time and get all of this fat and all of this stuff off of here. But because I have 10 briskets I need to trim, and so I have 160 pounds of brisket I need to cook and 160 pounds of pork I need to cook.
Flashback.
All right, so obviously this is a little bit later, and here I am loading up. This is Bernadette. If you don't know who Bernadette is, she is one of the newer smokers that I have. I don't use Bernadette often enough because Bernadette is usually just reserved for big events like this. First 5 briskets in on the top shelf. The next 5 briskets are going in on the second shelf. And 5. So that's 10 briskets. Now I'm pulling out the third shelf. We're going to get the pork shoulder in and situated. There were 16 pieces of pork shoulder. I kind of miscalculated. I started running out of room, so I had to readjust. Now we'll get the last 4 pieces on. And there you have it.
End of flashback.
So I am going to get in here and get this taken care of quickly and, like I said, efficiently. Now, come on the other side, I'll just take off any egregious pieces of fat here. And that was like the only one. I could just look at it and feel it. And if you hit a little bit of the skin, the muscle, you're fine. It's not the end of the world. All right, so that was the first brisket that I took care of. That, well, not first, but that was the first one that I filmed that I took care of, and I showed you guys how I trim the brisket before it goes into the smoker before I get it seasoned. Now, here are two other briskets. Now, I would like for you to pay attention. The first brisket was, and I know I don't know which is which, the right brisket or the left brisket, but there is a difference between the briskets. So keep an eye out for the difference. The first one was one, the second brisket was another, and the third brisket was same as the first. Nonetheless, hang tight, watch this. Thanks for watching.
All right, so here I have my next brisket. We're going to get it cut out of the package, flipped into the sink, and we'll get it rinsed off. Now I just rinse it off because there's little bits of fat sometimes, and we'll get right into cutting out the decal, just like I showed you on the first brisket. All in there. Now I'm going to get some of the fat and the silver skin cut off of the bottom. Now, because I had so many briskets to do, I really didn't spend too much time doing this. Now, in this particular brisket, the fat cap was huge, so I trimmed it rather aggressively. When I trim my briskets, I try to leave no more than about 1/4 of an inch of fat. All right, here's the next brisket. Let's get the brisket cut out of the package, flipped into the sink. Keep in mind, or take note, that I'm using the knife and my gloved hand to touch the raw meat. Let's get the brisket rinsed off. Onto the foil, flipped around so I can cut the decal out. Again, going back in at the angle, just like on the first brisket. Cut down and around, get all of that out of there. Go back in, cut a V out. Let's get some more of that fat that's not really going to render away. And that's that on the underside. Let's get some of this fat and silver skin. Flip the brisket over. And just on this edge, it was particularly fatty. So we're going to trim that off and towards the tail. And that's it.
Thank you guys again, as always, for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you like what you saw today, if you learned something, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to turn that notification bell on so you can be notified whenever one of these videos goes live. Speaking of live, I go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. 2 hours. First hour, we talk about barbecue and or something barbecue business related. Second hour, we kind of shoot the breeze, talks amongst friends. Make sure you bring a cool refreshment with you. Anyway, thanks again as always for watching. I'll see you next time.
I'm a butter baby.